Hello again, friends. Welcome back to twitch.tv/TrooperBerry. And welcome to another Variety Friday, where this week we're going to give the demos a break, and instead, I'm going to show off what I picked up during the Steam Summer Sale, which has now ended. And we're going to start with the full release of I'm Making a Monster by Zorkie Studios. Those of you who have been on the channel for a while, you might remember we played the demo for this during the Choices Matter festival, which was last year, early last year, I believe. It's from the same people who did the Quality Dreams, Reasonably Priced. So this one is, well, as the title suggests, you are making a monster, and your friends keep interrupting you, and so we make the monster, we deal with our friends, and yeah, I remember. So when we played, the demo was actually the prologue for this. I guess we'll see if that comes back. So check our settings. Okay, the settings are pretty straightforward. We can check the content warnings, I suppose. Let's see. Grief, alcohol consumption, distractions from issues, self-neglect, not eating or resting. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Discussions of therapy and optional therapy visits, friend stage intervention in some routes. Okay. Nothing too terribly horrifying. Alrighty. I'll tell you what, why don't we jump in, and then we'll see what the full release of I'm Making a Monster looks like. Oh, okay, here's our yeah, because it plays like a visual novel, but you still have character customization. And you got the wide variety of pronouns there. I think last time we kept the name the same, but you know what? Let's go for our traditional name. Actually, I don't remember. Krongle has a. Is Krongle a first name or a last name? Here we go. There we go. Can you? Oh, you actually select multiple. Wow. Okay. I think we'll just stick with they them, just because. Well, honestly, I'm lazy. Okay. Captain Krongle has been shut in their room for a month. They have not eaten a proper meal in more than a week. They have only drunk water under extreme duress. Right, yeah, because I remember, yeah, this is how the demo began as well. Today, Captain opens the door to their room of their own volition, an occurrence their friends will be equally excited and nervous about, and stumbles from its dark depths with a dehydrated wobble to their step. Fumbling for some scrap paper and tearing the lid off a pen, Captain drops onto a stool and begins to sketch. Fur and ink splatter onto page after page in unsteady strokes. Hours later. After many hours, during which friends come over and find Captain, are relieved to see them out of the room, and then distraught again to see Captain unable to tear themselves from their work, Captain holds up a final page of formulas and diagrams. So we can exclaim in triumph, or we can wallow in despair. Well, let's not lead with despair. We'll exclaim in triumph. Yes, they say, it can be done. Captain almost bounces up from the stool, but they lack the energy or coordination. Instead, they settle for lifting the page up, beaming at their work. What can be done? Captain jumps the sound, almost falling over in the process. They had not noticed that a friend had crept into the kitchen while they worked. Abella leans out from the doorway, mixing bowl in hand, trying to hide worry behind a smile. Captain does not try to hide their rising excitement. "Oh, Abella," they say. "I'm going to make something unlike anything I've ever made." Abella continues stirring, waiting. She has played this game before. We can make something beautiful, horrific, redemptive, or reprehensible. I know, I guess we'll try to keep it upbeat. Let's make something beautiful. I'm making, Captain continues, something beautiful. Abella raises an eyebrow. We can tell her the truth, or we can lie. Alright, this is where we cop to making a monster. Well, you know what? I'm making a monster. Abella nods, trying to hide her mounting concern. Abella leaves shortly after that, depositing a salad Captain promised to eat onto their work table. Do we have time for salad? Because as we all know, you can't make friends with salad, but apparently we made friends first. So I guess that kind of does free us to... Okay, fine, we'll eat some salad. Captain pauses their work to swallow a few bites of salad. They're not sure if they've eaten anything else today. It is hard to pull themselves from the work, but they realize that they need food or they will lack the strength to complete it. After eating more salad, they examine their plans. Creating a living being is an exhaustingly complex venture, but Captain is nothing if not tenacious. They pursued their lifeless exile with the same resolve they now turn to their work. Nothing will make Captain waver from this task, because they are making a monster. But where to start? A monster needs many parts. So we can start with the skeleton, the nervous system, or the skin. Well, if you start with the skin, you're just going to have a big bag, aren't you? And if you start with the nervous system, you're just going to have like a network of nerves floating everywhere. I feel like you got to have a scaffold first, and the scaffold's got to be the skeleton. It's always safe to start with the base. Captain pulls out their notes on forming the monster's bones. Captain considers the best way to build the monster's bones. Okay, so we can have necromancy, plant magic, or mechatronics. So do we raise it from the dead? Do we build the bones from plants? Or do you build them from metal? I don't know. I mean, a metal skeleton sounds solid, but also kind of inflexible. I don't know, maybe let's split the difference. We'll go plant magic. I guess we're a mage as well as an engineer. Using plant magic to make the monster skeleton could work. A skeleton of living wood could be supple and strong. Yes, it can work quite nicely. Now, just to determine how to acquire plants with the properties they need. So we can gather the wood, or we can grow the wood. Well, gathering would be faster. But then the wood would already be dead. Whereas if we grew the wood, you could, but it would be, well, we'd still have to harvest it, but it would be, I guess, more alive. I don't know, maybe we grow the wood? I mean, if we have plant magic, maybe we can make it grow faster. With enough time and effort, Captain can work out a way of accelerating plant growth to cultivate an entire living skeleton. It'll be slower than finding wood to use, but Captain can ensure quality is up to their precise standards. There we go. Captain estimates that it could take them 5 months to complete. What, are we in a rush? Hey, Pancake, welcome in. We're doing all right for the most part. God, it is just, it's been brutal out here. Like, it's been like the low to mid 30s, even with all the tropical storms in the neighborhood. And then tomorrow it's going to be 35 degrees and 90% humidity. Ugh. And worst of all, I have to leave my apartment. But how you doing, Pancake? Okay, so after a month of work, Abella visits again. She warily looks around the lab Captain has set up. So, how is the monster coming along? It's going well, apparently. Oh, it's going quite well. I'm making excellent progress on the monster's bones. I see, says Abella, finding to maintain a neutral tone. She takes a breath. It's warm out today. How about we go for a walk? It's always humid, but when it also gets hot, it's miserable. Oh, yeah. And I have air conditioning to come home to. I don't you. As we've heard on the news on a fairly regular basis, in the UK and Europe, that's not always guaranteed. All right. Well, our friend is obviously concerned about us. Why don't we go for a walk? Yeah, okay, Captain says, standing from their stool. Let me grab my coat. You don't need a coat. It's June. Captain looks over from the closet they were rustling in. They furrow their brows. June? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably for the best that Captain is leaving the apartment. I mean, what is time, though? Really? Abella brings Captain to a park they used to frequent before. Yeah, probably before the incidents of the prologue. She was right, the weather is gorgeous. A warm breeze ruffles through the tree canopy that frames the worn path the two walk along. Captain and Abella catch up on small things. Max has developed a spell to remove excess earwax. Corey has joined a jazz band. Captain slowly realizes they miss their friends. Your AC is still broken. Oh! Almost 2 weeks wait for a technician to come. Oh, guys, it's the worst possible time for that. Once the thing's warranty ends, you're changing the AC. Understandable. So how are you? I mean, are you have like the fans blasting? I hope, because you gotta have something to get through this. We can't make plans. So well, we're realizing we're missing our friends. You know, let's ask him to meet again. That was really nice, Abella. Thanks for dragging me outside. Would it be alright if we did this again? Something like this again? And a huge grin breaks across Abella's face. Of course. I'll see you soon. Oh, thank you for the watch streak there, Pancake. Captain is into the second month of their work when they hit a snag. The wooden bones aren't connecting as planned. they'll need to figure out a new strategy for attaching them. This will add a month to their work estimate. Okay, so we were 1 month in. We had a projection of 5 months. Now it's going to be 6 months. And I guess now we're 2 months in. Captain is in the middle of some complicated calculations when Corey bounds through their front door unannounced. Maybe Captain should start locking it. You going to the concert? Corey asks. You got fans and you're putting wet towels over windows when they're slightly ajar. Could do that. Yeah, if you... I speak from experience when I say if you have blackout curtains, you put those up during the day. That can help a lot too. That's how I made it through my years in the Middle East. Because if you just keep the sun out as much as possible, you don't give it a chance to warm up the joint. Of course, that also depends on how many windows you have. It could be could be quite expensive. But yeah, I mean, even just like your basic ass blackout curtains from IKEA should be able to do the trick. Okay, so what concert? When is the concert? Or, yeah, who are you? Who are you again? Captain replies, barely looking up from their work. Oh, come on, Corey groans. I joined a jazz band? We're doing a midsummer performance? Any of this ringing any bells? Actually, I think Abella did mention that, but clearly we forgot. Not in the least, sorry. Corey sighs loudly. We're performing July 21st. Here's a ticket. A small rectangular sheet is dropped onto Captain's desk. See you there? I mean, not to hang out with you necessarily, but you know what? Fine. Definitely, Captain examines the page. They can take some time off to support their friend. Sweet! I'll see you then. I don't have blackout curtains because your wife insisted on having frilly white curtains. Well, I mean... Could you, given the conditions, could you maybe talk her into temporarily switching? And then maybe switching back to the frilly white curtains when it's less nuclear outside? On the 21st, Captain arrives at the concert exactly 5 minutes early. Their ticket has an assigned seat, and they are surprised to find they're in the front row. Abella and Max are already there waiting. They smile when they see Captain approach. Corey was worried you wouldn't show, but I knew you'd make time. Of course we would. I was also unsure. I was saying nothing. Well, even if we are unsure, we don't need to let them in on that. We can keep up a brave face. Of course we'd show up. Oh, there was no uncertainty in my decision. This is important to Corey. I think it's just because you've been a bit absent lately, Max explains. At that, Captain falls silent. Well, it's great to see you here. The concert is fun. The music is a bit loud at times. Isn't jazz supposed to be soothing? Depends on the jazz. But Captain appreciates its energy. Corey looks like he's having an amazing time. Captain can't remember when Corey started learning the bass. Was it during... Maybe Captain will ask Abella about it later. After the show, the three friends and Captain go back to Max's to celebrate. Captain is surprised to learn that Max moved apartments. When that happened? Maybe they have been a little overly engrossed in their work. Captain promises himself to make more of an effort to spend time with their friends. I'm not even going to ask, what the answer is going to be. What's the point? The heat is temporary. Well, so are the curtains. I don't know, maybe your wife is a hothouse flower and she's absolutely fine with a lack of air conditioning. I know I wouldn't be. But then again, I'm living in a Hong Kong apartment that is made to radiate. It's just like it is basically a small concrete box. Like insulation is not a thing here. After a week of struggling with a new flowering plant graft, Captain finally gets this part of the skeleton working to their satisfaction. They turn to share their breakthrough with, but the lab is empty. Captain is still alone. Her parents were military, and compared to her, you and the kids are snowflakes. Well, you and the kids still live there, though. I mean, as we say around here, don't ask, don't get. Okay, so another month passes, so that's what, 3 into our now 6? Question mark? One morning, Captain is distracted by a knock at their door. This is odd because most of their friends don't bother knocking. Tentatively, interest drawn by the mystery, Captain crosses the room and cracks it open. Sitting in their threshold is Luxmay, a friend Captain hasn't seen in more than a year. She smiles at Captain a bit nervously. "Hi," she says. "Do you have a minute?" Okay, yeah, I guess if we're going for a theme here, I guess we should acknowledge at least our friends' concern and the fact that we've been diving into ourselves. A visual novel for such a game title. Oh yeah, it's very much a visual novel. And yeah, I think the prologue gives us some hints as to like the origin of making the monster and why we are the way we are, but you gotta download the demo for that. Yeah, I suppose. Because we got one part of making the monster in, but I guess we're also trying to let our friends back into our life, and well, as friends are wont to do, they get in the way of other pressing tasks. Oh, of course. Please come in. Captain steps aside, motioning her forwards. No need. I just stopped by to see if you're free tonight. I'm showing in an art exhibition, and I wanted to ask if you could make it. Her eyes are hopeful. Fine. That sounds really fun. I'd love to come by and see your work. She smiles largely. Amazing. Here's the invitation. She hands Captain a small card. They raise an eyebrow. Very fancy, they tease. Luxmay smiles, a bit embarrassed. I'll see you then, she says. Where you turn your friends into monsters so you can all be together? Well, we don't know how this ends. Maybe. The art exhibition is very cool, if not a bit too formal for Captain's tastes. Several artists are being featured. Luxmay's work is a collection of wire statues that move subtly when they're not being watched. It is gorgeously terrifying. Captain spots Abella and Corey, and the three of them walk around commenting on different pieces and despairing over their prizes. I'm happy to see you outside your lab, Abella says as the night winds to an end. See you again? Corey asks. Okay. I mean, I really do have a monster to make, but sure. Absolutely. I'll see you soon, Captain says with a smile. They feel both happy and worried to see how much this pleases their friends. There are 3 months left in building the wooden skeleton. Captain feels they're on a roll. All the theories actualizing with an ease that is relieving, unexpected, and entirely pleasing. Captain realizes they are ahead of schedule, and they can reduce their work estimate by a month. Huh. Because it's weird because with all the interruptions we've had, I thought we'd be behind, but clearly not. So we're back down to 5. All right. A month elapses. One day, Captain looks up from their work to see Abella walking in. She looks at the bones that they've almost finished and immediately looks away. She turns her gaze instead to Captain. It's the last warm day of the year, she says. Come to the beach with me. Captain is efficient. Yeah, when we're allowed to work. I mean, I know this is very much a story of dealing with us dealing with grief and our friends seeing what that's doing to us and I guess trying to help in their own way. Or trying to sabotage us, who knows? It's the last warm day of the year. What? I mean, we can go to the beach when it's not warm, but alright, fine. As long as we stop at my favorite cheese shop on the way, Captain says, getting up from their seat. Deal, Abella replies with a smile. After stopping at the cheese shop to pick up some things to snack on, Captain and Abella walk along the beach. There's a cool breeze coming off the water. After a bit, they find some large, flat rocks to sit on. How are you doing, Captain? So, we can deflect, we can lie, or we can respond genuinely. I mean, she did see the wooden skeleton we're making, so clearly she knows everything is not okay. Honestly, not so good. The work has been going well, but no matter how much progress I make, there's no sense of accomplishment. Everything feels so desaturated and far away. Abella nods solemnly. No one's expecting you to get over it right away. It's just hard to watch you destroy yourself over this. Captain lets out a slow breath. I'm trying my best. Abella puts a hand on their shoulder. I know. Work continues with its usual ups and downs, but Captain can tell the end is in sight. Anticipation rises as they visualize the remaining skeleton parts coming together. Captain is working late one night, or is it early one morning, when Max comes barging through their front door. Hello, he says. I need help with some work that's got your name on it. Ignore I'm busy or ask him to explain. Explain, please. With great pain, Captain tears their eyes from the diagram they're halfway through drawing. What is it? I'm gonna make the best haunted house this world has ever seen, Max declares loudly. Read more. Since when does Max build haunted houses? Or ignore him? Well, okay, I guess we must be in the northern hemisphere then. We're moving into Halloween season now that summer is ending. Tell me more. I'm listening, but that doesn't mean I'm agreeing to anything. Okay, wait, let me back up. So, haunted house. What do all haunted houses need? A good insurance policy. Ghosts? No, wrong. Haunted houses need skeletons, Max exclaims joyfully. Did you know you can make skeletons? The most comfortable nose piercing you've seen. I don't know that I've seen a star shape before, but I've seen like some of those like full on like nose rings, like they give I guess oxen. But no, it's I don't know. I'm not a piercing person, so I have no expertise to bring to this conversation. Cut him off? No, we'll let him finish. Captain sighs. That's right, you! You can make skeletons, or always make them move. Actually, I don't know. Can you make her move skeletons? So we can admit to bone control proficiency, even if they knew how they're busy with work, or try desperately to change the topic. Alright. Well, opening up and letting our friends into our life hasn't slowed down our work yet. So, yes? I have dabbled in necromancy in the past. Max beams. See, I knew you'd be perfect for the job. But the work beckons so sweetly. Okay, Captain concedes. I'll help with your haunted house skeletons. A huge smile spreads across Max's face. I promise you won't regret it. After a few weeks of work on the synthetic skeletons, which Captain actually finds somewhat enlightening and decides to bring concepts from into their own monster crafting, the haunted house is ready. Captain and Max hide and watch customers scream as they realize the skeletons are moving towards them without strings. The dancing skeleton who offers to waltz is Captain's favorite. Max likes the one who walks along the ceiling and shatters his teeth. All of Max's co-workers are duly impressed, and Captain is invited to their dinner to celebrate the haunted house's success. It's a really fun evening that feels well earned. we got skeletons doing a chorus line. After 5 months, Captain has finally completed the monster's bones. A small thrill flows through them. They step back and examine their work. Yes, it is definitely something beautiful. But their growing smile falters in the face of a startling thought. Would she have liked it? Yes, no, or this is a pointless exercise. Well, see, I know, I'm trying to remember a demo I played like a year and a half ago. Trying to remember like the identity of the she whose departure is the reason we're in the state we're in. And honestly, I'm having a hard time. I'm going to say yes. Yes, of course she would have liked it. She would have found it beautiful, fascinating, breathtaking. She may have even loved it. Captain returns to their notes. They need to decide which part of the monster to construct next. Okay, so now that we have the scaffold, we should probably go for the nervous system. After completing the bones, a brain and nervous system will allow the monster to move and think. Captain should make it next to ensure it interfaces well with the rest of the body. So what material is best for the task? So again, we have necromancy, plant magic, and mechatronics. So do we go all in on plants? Do we get an Abby normal brain via necromancy, or do we go for the mechanical, electronic? I'm not sure. Okay, here's the thing. We'll go with the better conducting material for the nervous system, and then maybe we'll do the skin via necromancy. We'll get a nice spread. An inorganic computer brain would grant versatility and durability. That's probably the most straightforward option. Finding computer parts to use could pose a challenge, though. Reminds me of a homebrew magic specialization that a wizard artificer could take called Reanimator. Like Herbert West. The first one grew flesh golems via alchemy, the other used corpses and upgraded with magical tech. Oh yeah, for like a tabletop kind of thing. Yeah, I can see that. Is it finding parts could pose a challenge? I don't know. Can we build computer parts? Captain has never built a supercomputer and equipped it with an adequately sophisticated neural sim before, but they've played around with complex, smaller scope computer projects. And as their teachers used to say, anything is possible with little, or a shit ton, of magic. It'll take more time than finding suitable computer parts and code bases, but means Captain won't need to compromise on their design. Overall, Captain estimates it should take them 6 months to complete the work. Hey, cuz, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope the week's treating you well and you're able to stay cool wherever you are. Well, and here's Corey. Corey drops by one November afternoon and deposits a cookie on Captain's desk. You make this? Captain asks. Corey nods, and Captain snatches it up and begins untying the loose wrapping. Hey, there's more where that came from, Corey laughs. Oh? Captain asks between mouthfuls of cookie. We're hanging out at Abella's tonight, and I'm bringing 2 boxes worth. So we can fall into cookie temptation or reject sin. Work awaits. Well, getting out and hanging out with our friends hasn't really impeded our ability to work yet. And moreover, cookies. Is that an invitation? Corey smiles. You want the cookies or not? Absolutely, I want the cookies. Corey smile widens a few notches. I'll see you tonight then. Oh, we got a achievement. As well as can be reunite with your friends. Oh, nice. The heat wave has passed the Midwest. Now it's very pleasantly warm. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. It is it is less pleasant here. Yeah, I think we're on track for like 35 degrees and 90% humidity tomorrow, which is like low 90s Fahrenheit, I think. Captain arrives at Abella's apartment that evening. They hesitate for a moment. They haven't been here since before... ... They remind themselves that cookies are waiting on the other side of the door, and they knock. Abella opens the door with a smile. I'm so glad you made it. Abella's apartment looks the same as Captain remembers. As they walk further in, they see Corey and Max already settled in the living room. The promised cookies are laid out on the coffee table. Captain spends some time cautiously discussing how things have been. They try not to say too much about the monster. It's not too hard when they keep grabbing more cookies. Max eventually suggests starting a movie, and Captain glances at the time. So we can say, or if we leave right now, we could get more work done. Humidity is the real villain? Yeah. And I gotta be out and about and do a bunch of stuff tomorrow. Boo. But it's the weekend. That's the time when I get to do all my non-work adulting. Yay. Yeah, we've gone all in so far. Fine, we'll stay for the movie. Captain settles in to rewatch one of Abella's favorite movies. They feel themselves relaxing by fragments as each minute passes. Corey and Max argue over plot holes and continuity errors, while Abella hushes them during her favorite scenes. It all feels so warm and familiar, and it stirs an ache in their heart. There's too much missing from this picture for it to feel complete. But maybe this is what it feels like to pour paint over an old canvas and create something new. Captain hits a breakthrough in their work. The computer's pattern recognition is progressing far above expectations, as are the sensors aiding the peripheral nervous system's response times. The advances put them about a month ahead of schedule. Captain is ecstatic. See? We hang out with our friends, good things happen. Before Captain realizes it, the year is over. It's been almost 9 months since... ... Captain examines the letter in their hand. It's from Abella. She's inviting them to a New Year's party she's hosting. Behind the open letter, a huge pile of work on their desk looms. They had hoped to finish prototyping a new design for a connecting piece this week. Now, see, what I'm starting to wonder is if we hit some sort of time limit and we don't we don't finish the monster before ... But then again, even if we don't do that, we have reconnected with our friends, and that's something right there. Yeah, let's go to the party. Captain has been working diligently, keeping long hours and taking little time to rest. They can spare the time for a break this evening. They call up Abella and let them know they'll be able to make it. She sounds very pleased, and it makes Captain smile. Captain arrives at Abella's party in fancy clothes that pinch a little. Abella opens the door with a huge grin, and Captain promptly shoves a bottle of champagne in her face. "Thank you for inviting me," they say. "Of course," Abella exclaims. "Thank you for coming." She takes the champagne and then Captain's coat, showing them inside. What follows is a fun night of reminiscing and declaring next year promises. The only awkward moment is when someone who's friends of a friend of Captain's mentions Delaney. The room falls briefly silent as someone else pulls this friend of a friend away. Captain can very clearly hear them having a terse conversation about not mentioning her in Captain's presence. Captain resolutely ignores this. Soon after, they notice Max and Abella watching them like they might break into a million pieces. Captain also resolutely ignores this. Corey comes over with a fresh glass of champagne, and they all toast to friendship, and everything is fine after that. Or at least, that's what Captain tells himself. The room counts down to midnight and erupts in cheers and hugs. Captain spends sparks flying over the champagne flutes, much to the party's enjoyments and Abella's nervousness. She double-checked with the captain that it was safe to drink at least a dozen times before letting her guests toast. After midnight, many of the guests begin making their goodbyes and heading home. The party slowly grows quieter and warmer. So we can talk to Max, Corey, Abella, or just go home. Now, I'll say the Steam page for this, I think it made kind of a hint that there may be some romantic options here. So do we want our guest host? Do we want the bassist? Or do we want our partner in haunted house crimes? I'll go with the haunted house. Captain finds Max in the living room. She's found reruns of a ghost cupcake making show from the previous decade. Oh, is Max a she now? I thought when we were making the haunted house, Max used he. Maybe they changed. Say hi, sit down and watch for a bit, or wait? Wait, a ghost cupcake making... So is it a ghost making cupcakes, or is it someone making ghost cupcakes? I don't know, I'm curious. Captain sits down next to Max. Her eyes don't move from the screen, but she smiles. "Glad you joined," she says. "This is my favorite episode. The bakers need to work with the ghosts to make a cupcake tower themed around true love." After 20 tumultuous minutes of batter mixing, drop trays and bowls, overheated icing, cupcake baking and cooling, icing application, and one of the bakers falling in love with a ghost, the episode's credits roll over the screen. Amazing, right? Agree, there are better episodes or talk about anything but the Ghost Cupcake Show. It's the best one I've seen. Yeah, that was fun. I can't believe how long it's been since I watched these. "I'm happy you liked it," Max says with a grin. Then she pauses, her face growing growing serious. And she pauses, her face growing serious. Hey, Captain. I know you've been super busy lately with your project, whatever, but I really like spending time with you. I want to do more things together. Or, if you don't have time, maybe I can just sit with you while you're working some days. I just want to see you more, if that's okay. Okay, it'll be different once the work is done. They're ready to make more time for Max or apologize and leave. Also, I know we were using British spellings earlier, but now we're having with a apologize with a Z. Or are we doing the Canadian English thing where it's all just vibes? No, okay, well, we're doing maximum outreach here. Okay, we'll make more time for Max. I'm sorry that I've hurt you. I promise to make more time to hang out. I really like spending time with you too. Max grins hugely. I really appreciate it. After wrapping up their conversation with Max, Captain chats with a few more friends. Some silly party games are played, and Captain finds himself laughing more than they have in a long time. A few hours later, Captain makes their goodbyes and heads home. It's quite a bit later than they expected to be out, but somehow they can't find the energy to be anxious about it. It was nice seeing their friends. The warmth of that feeling follows them home. Captain is surprised by how easily everything is coming along. The work is less tiring than usual, and it feels like Captain could spare some energy for other activities without worrying about it running out. See? Being social gets results. A month of work later, we're at least 2 in. I think the game said it's going to be 6. On January 14th, Captain realizes it's Abella's birthday tomorrow. They glance over at their phone. It's probably not too late to make plans. Well, 1, it's a cute little sticker, and 2, so somehow we're an artificer and a mage and an engineer, and we have a flip phone? All right. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Captain opens their phone and calls Max. A picks up on the second ring. Oh. Okay, so we're rotating pronouns. Okay. Am I dead, or is this not a call from the renowned hermit, Captain Krongle? Just because he's a master of the necromantic arts doesn't mean he's a set. Well, yeah, but a flip phone? Can we at least, like, does this timeline not have smartphones, or are we that much of a hermit that we don't want a smartphone, and we're good with a flip phone? Because honestly, I would be too. When I was living in Tokyo, I had, this was like 2016, 2017. I had a flip phone, and I was happy with it. I didn't need a smartphone. I didn't want a smartphone. And if not for the fact that Singapore stopped supporting 2G, I probably would have kept it. Oh well. Sarcastic joke, cut to the chase, or I don't know. Because I feel like either of those could be hurtful. I mean, hanging up would definitely be hurtful. Let's just get right to it. Haha, very good, Max. I'm calling about Abella's birthday. The very birthday that isn't in fact tomorrow, Max replies. Yes, that one. Well, you're in luck, because I've already made all the plans. We're meeting at Corey's tomorrow at 2. Max proceeds to list a series of events that Captain realizes will take up the entire rest of their afternoon and evening. You owned was a Motorola MB511 flip out. Yeah, I do not actually know what that is. I mean, the fact that I was still using a flip phone in 2017 should probably let you know I'm not much of a phone person. Yeah, fine. Being sociable hasn't stopped us yet. Sounds great. I'll be there. Amazing. Abella will be so happy you can make it. Captain can hear... Air? Captain can hear air smile through the phone. Okay. I should have paid more attention to the character customization screen when we started. It's like a tiny square phone that's slid into two halves. Oh, those. Okay. I think I remember seeing those. Captain has a really enjoyable afternoon with their friends. They play some party games at Corey's and go see a movie. There are too many aliens and laser beams in the film for Captain's liking, but Abella loves it. The evening concludes with a visit to Abella's favorite restaurant. Captain finds themselves smiling and laughing more than they have in a long time. At the end of the evening, Abella gives Captain a huge hug. Thank you so much for coming. It really means a lot to me. When Captain gets home, the scattered pieces of the monster are waiting for them. Guilt rises, sudden and overwhelming. How could they have been out for so long and just left her like this? They gaze at her part-made form and, as a sinner before their God, promise to do better. And yet, a small part of them starts to wonder if maybe they're already giving enough. Captain spends some time testing the nervous system, watching as inputs are translated to outputs and back, watching different parts light up and process information. They layer together webs connecting nodes, creating meaning interlinked. They know, with as much certainty as they've had about anything, that the monster can awaken, and when she does, she will know all. Another month passes. Captain is washing up some mostly non-caustic chemicals that spilled when their phone starts ringing. They finish cleaning everything and check their missed calls. Max has been trying to reach them. Well, maybe it's important. Without thinking much of it, Captain calls Max back. Hi, Captain. Glad you called. What's up, Max? I was wondering if you're free this afternoon. I wanted to chat. Sure, come by whenever. I'll be home. Great. A few hours later. Captain is pulled out of their work by a knock at the door. They make their way over and find Max holding a huge bag. I brought snacks, Max explains. Faye pushes past Captain and begins moving papers to make the room to set up. Those are organized. Captain grabs the papers from Max's hands and begins putting them away more delicately. Sorry, but hey, I brought your favorite. Max pulls out containers of assorted cheeses. All right, you're forgiven. Hand over the cheese. Max obliges, and the two catch up as they compare cheeses from the selection that Max brought. After some time, Captain asks, "Did you have something specific you wanted to talk about?" "Yes, actually. I appreciate all the effort you've been putting into looking after yourself, and I want to make sure you know that. I was really worried for a long time. It was hard to see you like that." Max smiles, but Captain can see the pain Faye's trying to hide. "And it's been so nice seeing you more often. I miss you so much." So we can thank them for sharing, downplay their efforts, meaning our efforts, or apologize for the hurt they'd caused. Well, I think we've already done this. But I guess if withdrawing from ourselves to the extent we have has hurt our friends, maybe. "I'm sorry that I hurt you. Things were hard for me, but they were hard for you too." Max waves fair hands. "I didn't mean to make you apologize. I just wanted to explain that I saw the work you're putting in, and it meant a lot to me." Faye pauses and takes a breath. "I don't hold anything you did against you, and it didn't take it personally. I'm just so happy you're doing better now." But they're not who they once were. "I'm better, Max, but I don't want to mislead you. I'm not at the place I want to be. I'm not sure I'll ever be like that again." "I understand," Max says quietly. "I don't expect you to be. I'm happy with the you that you are now, and I'm happy you're letting us in and letting us support you where you need it." They share a hug, and Captain is definitely not crying at all as they finish the last of the cheese. Finally, Max gets up with a smile. "This was so nice. Thank you for having me over." "And thank you for all the cheeses." "My pleasure. See you again soon?" Captain smiles. "Definitely. As long as you bring cheese." The next month of work is a bit frantic. Captain had a snag and works doubly hard to make up for lost time. They're still aiming to be done in 1 month. And after a month of work, one day, while in the middle of some very complicated calculations, Captain gets a text from Mabella. It reads, "Get him in? It's important." Then Captain's phone starts to ring. What if Captain is secretly a harem protagonist? Well, then we're going to have some decisions to make. Because for now, it seems like we're all in with Max. Alright, we'll pick up the phone. "Hi, Bella. What's up?" "Hi, is this an alright time? I wanted to talk to you about you maybe talking to someone. You know, about Delaney?" Captain's blood goes cold. "Okay. So Delaney was, I'm pretty sure, Delaney was the woman we were hanging out with in the prologue." "I'm gonna hear you out, Bella, but we're on thin ice here." "I'm listening," Captain says tentatively. "Thank you," Abella says. "I found someone I think could be really great for you. I'm just asking you to give them a try." I guess it was only a matter of time before we got to therapy, wasn't it? Well, I mean, therapy will horribly eat into the schedule. That much is for certain. But I guess we could try? One session, Captain concedes. They know it'll make Abella happy. A week later, Captain shows up at the therapist's office. They talk to the therapist about the work. They do not mention Delaney. It goes okay. Captain feels a little better by the end of it, but they are a bit stressed about the time they're losing that could be spent working. At the end of the session, the receptionist asks if they'd like to book another one. Well, see, it says futile, costly, time-consuming endeavor. Yeah, what are we? I'm just curious. What are we doing for money amid all this? Unless therapy is somehow covered or subsidized or whatever. But all right, we're here to work on ourselves as much as our monster, despite the game's title. And we got achievement picking at scabs. Start therapy. Finally, after 5 months of work, the monster's brain is complete. Oh, 5. It was going to initially take us 6. Or Captain lives off Max cookies. Or they Max cook? I think no. Max had the cheese. Corey had the cookies. I think. Captain steps back and takes a look at their work so far. The wood skeleton paired with a computer nervous system is breathtaking. But Captain notices flaws here and there. The work isn't good enough. They begin to doubt if what they're making will even come close to what they had envisioned. With the final piece, everything will coalesce or come apart. No matter. Captain isn't one to not finish what they've started. All that remains is the monster's skin. The flesh will cover the monster, finally allowing it to exist in its full glory. Now to choose the method by which they shall complete the monster. So you have mechatronic flesh, plant magic flesh, or necromancy. See, I wonder... if necromancy is like the cheap and fast option, and like the plant magic and the mechatronics are progressively more difficult and time consuming. Just out of curiosity. Okay, and then that is the that's our log. Because I was thinking we do one of each. But yeah, but now I wonder if like we're okay. No. See, I'm doing it again. I'm getting min-max brain. Like how do we find the sweet spot between quality and time? That's not the point of this endeavor, though. Or at least not completely. So think like metal flesh. I don't know about that. And plant magic, like we're thinking like bark. Whereas necromancy would it just be like zombie flesh, you know, gray, pallid, and not all that pleasant to look at. Any sort of perfection is irrelevant. I imagine there is a path that we could go down that would be very much that. Actually, let's see. Can we? Okay, I did say. Is there a load option from the main menu? Let me just see. There is. Okay, good. So if I pick necromancy. Okay, using organic skin is a classic and time-tested solution. Captain checks their notes and realizes they're going to need a lot of organic material to make this work. So we can find donated flesh, or we can grow it in the lab. We know we grew the wooden skeleton. We somehow grew the mechatronic brain and nervous system. We might as well stick with the theme. Captain doesn't have any experience growing skin or skin-like material, but they're confident they can get what they need with enough time and effort. Growing it themselves will allow for more control in any case, and it'll be a great learning experience. After doing some preliminary research and checking their existing notes, Captain estimates they can complete the outer layer in 3 months. There, see? Necromancy, faster. On April 2nd, Captain packs a small bag. They include water, a candy bar, umbrella, their keys, and their wallet. They take a considering look at their phone. They want to be alone today. I was going to say, what if our car breaks down, but do we even have one? No, again, you can take the phone, but you can turn it off. Apparently, a lot of people don't know that. You can have the phone, it doesn't have to be on. Captain throws their phone into their bag, throws the bags over their shoulder, and walks out the door. The walk to the cemetery is long, but Captain doesn't mind it. When they get there, they realize they don't know where to go. They've never been before. After a little while of meandering, they find a groundskeeper who points them in the right direction. Soon after that, they find the grave. Delaney's grave. Captain sits down in front of the grave. They watch it silently for a while. Finally, they speak. We can say hello, mention how much we miss her, or tell her about how we're doing. Well, I feel ideally, I mean, we do all three, right? Oh, okay, so it's multiple options. All right. I really miss you. It's hard being here without you. I'm doing okay. I'm working on a really cool project. I also started therapy recently. I told my therapist about you. It kind of helped to talk about you with someone who didn't know you. They didn't judge me or anything. That was nice. They even mentioned some things I can do when missing you hurts too much. I've been trying to do the exercises. They help. Our friends have been working really hard to drag me out to do things besides work. It was a bit frustrating at first, but I think I appreciate it. They really care about me. I'm trying to be a better friend to them. Okay, now do we get to find out exactly what happened to Delaney? You were so much more to me than a friend. Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, that's right. We're at the top. Sorry, we got a whole new text box there. When you died, it was like everything that mattered left with you. I couldn't watch any of my favorite movies because all I could remember was watching them with you. And then I remember you were gone and everything would hurt all over again. Do you know how many times I picked up the phone to call you, only to remember there was no one to answer? You died a year ago, but it still hurts as much as if it happened yesterday. It was so hard without you. It's still hard now. You were so much more to me than just a friend. It felt like you fit so well into my life. Get angry, get sad, or talk about the monster. I feel like one of these things is not like the other. No, it's obvious we're sad. Just be sad. I miss you deeply. I just want you to come back, and I know that can never happen, but that doesn't stop me from wanting it. I'm half made again. I'm weak and faulty without you. You made me better, and now I'm lost. Alright, maybe we do deflect the monster. The work that I'm doing, I'm building a monster. It's for you. I know it won't be you. It probably won't be anything like you. But when you died, it felt like you took a part of me with you. I'm trying to get that piece back. And I know this monster won't be able to do that, but in my heart, I feel like it could. The monster will be beautiful, and it's all for you. I hope you hate it. Wait, I hope you hate it? Weren't we just saying that we thought they would love it? Captain wipes at their tears and gets up. They rummage in their bag, pulling out the candy bar and leaving it on top of the tombstone. Okay, I miss you. Meet Delaney. On their way home, Captain notices their phone is ringing. It's Abella. Hi, Abella. Hi, I just wanted to check in how you're doing. I know today is... We'll calm her down. I'm doing fine. I'm on my way home. Everything is okay. You went out? Yeah, we haven't lied yet. There's no reason to start now. I went to the cemetery today. And how did that go? She asked tentatively. It was really hard, but it was nice talking to her, even if she couldn't reply. Do you want to talk about it? Isn't that what I'm paying a therapist for? No, it's all right. Captain pauses for a moment. When they speak, it feels as if they're pulling the words from deep within themselves. If it's okay, can we talk about Delaney? Of course, Abella says softly. I'll be over in a minute with some tea. Before Captain can explain how unnecessary that is, Abella has hung up. She arrives soon after Captain gets home, and the two sit and chat about Delaney long into the night. It hurts, but it's cathartic. By the time they see the sun rising outside their window, Captain feels very slightly better. The immenseness of their loss feels like it could be surmounted one day. The following night, Captain tosses and turns, trapped in the restless sleep of the living. They dream that they finished the monster, laid the final piece, and awakened her. She opens her eyes, and it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a face they used to know. A face they still love. Distorted, repeated, and fragmented, almost past recognition. I guess say hi? Hello, Captain says. I've been waiting for you. She opens her mouth to speak, and fear rises, quick and clawing. What would be worse? That the monster really is Delaney, or that she is not? Her glazed gaze digs into Captain's eyes. She says, You are selfish to have made me. How could you? How dare you? You inspire only hate in my full and bloody heart. No, no, no. No, no. Captain wakes with a start, shivering and panting. They curl into themselves and don't sleep again that night. Captain hits a hitch with their work. Frustrated, they redo their calculations and add a month to their estimated timeline. Okay, now we're up to 4 months. One sunny spring morning, Captain is making coffee when they notice the tulips in the yard have begun to blossom. They remember that Corey is quite fond of tulips. So we can invite Corey to a tulip farm, or work is more important than tulip. Now, come on, we're locked into the maximally social path. Captain calls up Corey. He picks up immediately. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just wanted to know if you'd like to go see tulips with me. Are you serious? Yeah, I would absolutely die to go see tulips with you. I'll pick you up in 20 minutes. Before Captain has the chance to say anything else, Corey hangs up. As promised, Corey shows up 20 minutes later. He plays folk rock over the drive to the tulip farm. The flowers are stunning, lined in rows of solid colors. They fill the eye, creating a world of blooms. Corey and Captain take a few photos and pick a couple tulips to take home with them. As they walk back to the car, Corey puts a hand on Captain's shoulder. I really appreciate you calling and inviting me out. I'll be honest, Corey. I really didn't want to, but it was like some otherworldly force made me do this. It was hard to pull myself away from my work, but this was really fun. Thanks for coming here with me. Corey smiles. I hope to see you again soon. The skin has advanced well since last month's setback. Looking over the range of skin prototypes, Captain feels good about their progress so far. Captain's in the middle of working out a spell when their phone rings. They glance at the offending device, weighing how much of a distraction picking up would be. Well, up until this last incident, being distracted hasn't really been an issue. Hello? Hi, Captain. It's Luxmay's voice. I know it's been a while and this is really last minute, but are you free today? I guess? Yeah, I've got time, Captain says. Outstanding, Luxmay replies. I'm taking you painting. Luxmay meets Captain at a park they visited before, but not in a long while. They help her carry easels, canvases, and paint from her car. She has a spot in mind to set up, the top of a small hill overlooking a pond on one side and a small clump of trees on the other. As Luxmay sets up the easels, nerves begin to gather in Captain's chest. So we can confess, ask if we can just watch, or pretend there's an emergency and leave. Well, we're going to be walking because she's the one with the car. No, honesty has been the best policy so far. We're going to say, I have no painting jobs. Luxmay, I don't know how to paint. I can give you some pointers if you want, but why don't you just jump in and play around with it? Whatever you make doesn't need to be any specific way. Alright, fuck it, we'll freestyle it. The captain tentatively dips a brush into some paint and begins moving it across the canvas. At first, they focus on feeling the brush stutter and slide across the surface, but soon they try to imitate things they see. The painting ends up looking like a jumbled mess of green and blue, but Captain kinda likes it. Luxmay walks over to take a look, smiling hugely. "Looks great," she says. Captain thinks she's just being nice, but it still makes him smile. It really is quite a bad painting. Oh no, I'm having flashbacks to the cutscene from Stardew Valley when we go painting with Leah, or doing a portrait of Marty. She shows them how to wash the brushes, and Captain sneaks a peek at her painting as they put them away. Luxmay has painted a night sky reflected in the pond. Fish jump from its waters, and leaves float along its surface. Along the edge of the pond are piles of bones. It looks nothing like the park. You're gonna go on a grocery run, Pancake? No worries. Appreciate you hanging out. And you stay cool as best you can. Luxmay casts a spell the Captain doesn't entirely follow, and the water begins to ripple very subtly. She winks at them. Compliment, ask if it's time to go, or say, I guess we'll compliment the painting? Say, wow, Luxmay, that's incredible. She smiles. Thank you. It comes with years of practice. She was never good at accepting compliments. Compliments with an I. Captain is glad that some things haven't changed. Captain helps pack up the easels and carry them and the paintings back to Luxmay's car. She drops them back at home, and they say goodbye with a wave. Captain's reached a block in a spell they're crafting when a conversation with Abella comes to mind. She'd been working on something that needed to be stretched, but not lose its stability. Referencing her descriptions, Captain finishes a test-ready spell formulation. A few days later, the skin patch they're working on is finally behaving the way they need. A current of excitement hums just below Captain's skin. They can't wait to try applying the spells to some more of the skin tomorrow. Max barges into Captain's apartment one July day. Captain doesn't look up. They are far past used to their friends bursting in unannounced. Hi, Captain. We're going to the beach. You want to join? Well, I think we're right there at the end. I think we're up to we're at right about 4 months making the skin. You know what? Sure, we can take a break. Sure, Captain says, putting down the prototype they're working on. When are you leaving? Right now. Captain quickly packs a small bag and follows Max outside. Abella waves at them from the passenger seat of Corey's car. I'm glad you can make it. What follows is a pleasant afternoon at the beach. Abella brought cheese for Captain, which makes them smile. Max and Corey get into a water fight, while Captain reads a book under an umbrella and Abella suntans. It is perfectly lovely. Once everyone is beached out, Corey drops Captain back at home. They wave as the car pulls away. At long last, after 2 months and 1 year of work, Captain has completed the monster. Captain steps back to take her in, to admire her. They look upon their creation. Her skeleton is wood. Her brain is a computer. Her flesh is flush with blood. Yes, she is truly beautiful. She too is an abomination. Without yet knowing her, Captain feels a vast and deep love drowning them. They have poured themselves into her, and here she lies, waiting. We can cast the final spell or stop here before it may be too late. That sounds like a call to save scum. Nah, man. We've come this far. Yeah, we've endured our friends' repeated interruptions. It's time to make a monster. Captain casts the last spell, and the monster opens her eyes. She looks upon Captain, expressionless. Can you speak? They ask. She shakes her head softly. She holds out her hand. Oh, did we not invest in vocal cords? I feel like that was an oversight. Captain takes her hand very gently. She puts her other hand on top of theirs. Captain begins to cry. Over the following months, Captain retreats further from the world. They spend all their time with the monster, hoping she'll one day be more than she is. The monster is very kind. Captain needs to keep reminding himself that it's not the monster's fault. Nothing is her fault. She stays with Captain and is patient and understanding. She's always there for Captain, always trying to help. She's everything they wanted. Captain's friends keep reaching out, trying to make plans, but Captain pulls himself further and further away. They have the monster now. She's everything they need. How could they leave her? And yet, everything about the monster only makes Captain think of how she's not but a hollow imitation. The monster will never be Delaney, but Captain will never be alone again. If Captain feels bitterness that the monster keeps them from seeing their friends, out of shame, out of horror, out of love, then they bury that feeling deep within themselves. And if Captain feels hollow, an emptiness that grows inside them each night, they ignore it. Everything is as it should be. Okay, so that strikes me as the bad end. Oh, not credits yet? Probably in Toronto, Canada. Yay, Canada! Okay, there's a climax. And your character is struggling with loss in the community tries to support them through grief. Connectedness and severing ourselves will only harm ourselves in the long term. By rejecting individualism and recognizing the importance of community, we can work towards care and understanding. Okay. It was also developed in Bandung, Indonesia. Okay, that is a lot to read. There we go. Credits. We had, okay, so writing and development by Endelian Sherman, and then art, UI, and design by Nez Wandita. They're probably the one who's in Bandung. Music by Stefano Pizzolato. And playtesters. Tools. Paper textures taken from, okay. Yeah, I would say it's a very minimalist game, but the watercolor, like the thing you can see, it looks like a blank pages with watercolor on them, and then it's simple, but it's still very evocative. I really like that. Okay. Well, there was that. Okay, you know, I have to check. I am curious. So what happens if we bail at the last minute? Captain pauses, hesitating before the final spell. Creating life is a large responsibility. It introduces moral quandaries they have been ignoring up till now. But does it really matter? No sin is too great when in service to their work. They've already come this far. It would be a waste not to take the final step. But do we really need the monster? Captain has friends, good friends, who are here for them when they need them. But what about Delaney? Wouldn't leaving everything in this undone, sorry state be to betraying Delaney, abandoning her? And yet they know she, of all people, wouldn't want this. Yeah, man. Make like Elsa. Let it go. As Captain gives up on completing the monster, they feel themselves letting Delaney go. It's scary and frustrating. Their heart hurts. Well, especially since we read that end screen, I think we have a pretty good idea we're meant to phone a friend rather than suffer alone. Excuse me. Okay. The phone rings for exactly 18 seconds. Captain knows because they count them. Captain? Hi, Max. Captain pauses for a moment. I need to talk to you about the monster. Max promises to be over soon, and Captain sits down on the floor. They know it'll be okay. They have friends who love them. They won't be alone soon. With the monster behind them, Captain struggles to fill the sudden emptiness she leaves with him. Max and other friends come and spend time with Captain. Captain finds it easier to be honest with them, and they seem to help stop the devouring void from overtaking them. Slowly, very slowly, Captain discovers they can leave the monster behind. They start seeing their friends at least once a week, rejoining the schedule of alternating Saturday brunches and Friday movie nights. It can be tiring, and sometimes Captain wants to bail on their plans. But it's also enjoyable, and Captain can feel the way it connects them together. Each get-together makes it a little easier to reach out. Captain finds other projects to pursue and forces himself to rest, eat, leave the apartment. Oof, scary stuff. A lot of what they discovered while monster making is state of the art, and Captain learns that they enjoy sharing their findings and inventions with others. Not everything is perfect. Captain knows things can never go back to the way they were. They can never get Delaney back, and they'll never again be who they were when she was here. But there's hope now. Captain sees the possibility of a new version of themselves. One who's worked out the stiffness in their scar tissue and is reaching out, ready to reconnect with the world. One who's not resistant to surrounding themselves with friends and love once more. Okay, and there's the, well, I don't know if it's the good ending, it's certainly the less depressing ending. Okay. Well, there we are. Yeah, that was I'm Making a Monster. As you can see, it's a short and sweet experience. But yeah, very very emotional, very it's a I mean, yeah, they do tell you admittedly right up front. They lead, it's about grief. So, and yeah, they do deliver on that. But as I said, a very minimalist approach with like the white pages with the watercolor art on it. But the music is, well, the music is it's inobtrusive. But I said like the story is where it lives and dies, and honestly, it hits. Especially if you have been through that cycle of grief yourself, large parts of the story might feel familiar, and they might hit pretty hard. But yeah, full credit to the Zorkie team. Yeah, and I'll say so. I'm Making a Monster came out in full release, I think, earlier this week. I believe it is something like $7 on Steam. So if it looks like a story you'd like to experience, I would definitely recommend. Actually, as I say this, whether you intend to, well, if you know you're going to buy it, I would still recommend downloading the demo and playing the prologue, because that'll also give you a grounding for the story you get in the full game. Because I would say, if I hadn't played the prologue, through context clues, I could figure out who Delaney was, but I think the prologue actually not only gives that introduction, but lets you experience time with Delaney as well, which gives a better grounding and explains why we might be in the state we're in. But there we go. Yeah, that was a really cool experience, and I'm glad. Well, I'm glad the Zorkie reached out during the festival we mentioned earlier, and that they kept in touch and then let us know that their next game is out in full release as well. We're going to leave it there. Twitch friends, hold on just a second. I'll put on some highlights and then we'll pivot to the next game. YouTube friends, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time, and bye for now.